Okay, let's come back to Vanessa and C.J. Hopkins, Vanessa.
Yes, so C.J. Hopkins, many people might already know him, of course, an American satirist and author based in Germany who authored The Rise of the New Normal Reich in relation to COVID measures, particularly in German, but I think also globally. I haven't read it yet. He's now facing a fairly extended court case because on the original cover of the book, he showed a swastika.
Well, you can't just see it on that graphic. If we can just put it back on.
Yeah, you can just about see it on the mask on the front cover of the book. So let's see what happened to him after that. So this is taken from his fundraiser, Just When You Have Thought Things Couldn't Get Any Crazier. American playwright and humorist C.J. Hopkins has been sent a punishment order by a German judge offering him a Sophie's choice of 60 days in jail or 3,600 euros. His crime, as we mentioned, essentially insulting the German health minister in a tweet and using a scarcely visible image of a swastika on a mask in a book critical of the global pandemic response, book that we showed you. He was first accused of this crime in June, shortly after Roger Waters was placed under investigation for wearing his clearly satirical pink costume in a stage performance in Berlin. Then moving on, you can see what CJ writes himself about the whole procedure in his Substack. The Germans are putting me on trial for thought crimes. The Berlin District Court has issued a so-called penalty order or order of punishment in which I'm advised that I'm now officially a criminal in Germany for tweeting 2 tweets. According to my attorney, a trial which will now be scheduled, at which my attorney will argue the case before the judge that just issued the order of punishment. At this trial, the judge will listen attentively to the arguments my attorney has already made in writing, consider them carefully, and find me guilty again. Then the judge will reaffirm the order of punishment. Yes, go ahead and read that paragraph again. So I just wanted to point out that CJ has a fundraiser up and running. He's going to contest the ruling instead of either paying the 3,600 or going to jail. So he's raising the money to basically contest the case. I mean, we're going to be seeing many more of these, but it's complete. Well, yes. It lives up to the title of the book, let's say.
Indeed. Okay, thank you for that. Now let's move to Africa and Gabon. So let's bring the map on screen so that we can see where Gabon is. It's a bit south of the so-called Sahel, and of course there's been a military intervention, what some people are calling a coup. So here is a tweet from Africa Fact Zone. Gabon's military names General Brice Nguema as the transitional leader. He said ousted President Bongo violated the constitution by seeking a 3rd term. He also said his illness was an issue that wasn't addressed. He is the head of the Presidential Guard. Now, Vanessa gave me some links to some stuff on this. I recommend everybody reads this series. This is entitled The Crimes of Bongo, Apartheid and Terror in Africa's Gardens of Eden, Part 1. There are 2 or 3 parts to this, but it's on the Black Agenda Report website. It'll be in the show notes, linked in the show notes. But, other people that have been commenting on this are saying, that Bongo, his father, reportedly 70 bank accounts, 39 apartments, 2 Ferraris, 6 Mercedes-Benz cars, 3 Porsches, and a Bugatti in France. And then another comment was 55 years the Bongo family has been protected by the West as their country was looted and the population kept in poverty. And that certainly seems to be the case. Now, what's been the British response? Let's have a look at Andrew Mitchell here. The UK condemns the unconstitutional military takeover of power in Gabon and calls for the restoration of the constitutional government. We acknowledge the concerns raised regarding the recent electoral process, including restrictions on media freedom, and urge all parties and citizens to commit to and follow legal and constitutional processes to resolve any electoral disputes.
Well, Vanessa, we're both laughing, but of course, this is just disgraceful hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy which is so appalling that what can we do but laugh at it? It is laughable, albeit very serious.
Do you have any thoughts on this, Vanessa, before we just move on to why I think this is what's going on here?
Well, no, I mean, I think it's just another in the long line of military takeovers from capture governments to the colonialist powers, whether it's Britain or France or the United States. Gabon was also heavily hooked to the World Bank. Bongo had introduced partnership with the World Bank for some years. So, yeah, I mean, we're just seeing a continuation of the pattern. And of course, the UK is very upset that democratic processes are not being followed. If only this could happen in the UK. They shouldn't have said that.
Well, indeed. Okay. Well, look, so what's going on here? Well, of course, we had the BRICS meeting last week, and Dilma Rousseff, when the new development bank was launched, said, our financial support is provided without onerous conditions. And I think this perhaps gives us a clue as to what's going on. So we're seeing, military interventions in several African countries and a rejection of Western finance and so on. But I wanted to bring this on screen because this is from carboncredits.com. Gabon shakes emerging debt for nature swap market. So what is this debt for nature swap? Well, of course, Gabon has debt with the World Bank and whatnot and Western nations. But debt for nature or climate swaps are deals that allow a country to restructure its debt at a lower interest rate or for longer repayment periods. And that's in exchange for the debtor's commitment to fund conservation or climate-related initiatives, right? So what we have going on here is more conditions, in this case, conditionalities on debt that's held by African nations, in this case, in order to pursue Western-driven climate initiatives and climate goals. The African countries are increasingly rejecting this. And I think this is a positive development.
It's positive they're resisting it. It's just blatant blackmail based on policies made by people who say we've elected ourselves to control 700 million people.
Indeed.
Okay.